Good evening, everyone. My name is Phoebe Hosley. I am a 16-year-old senior at Peninsula Valley High School, two-year president of my high school's GSA, and creator and director of the first drag show company to have ever hit my school district. Thank you. So some of you might be wondering the whole 16 and a senior thing, so I might as well cover that now. I am the first LGBT student in my district's history to be graduating a full year early. So, not to flex. So I am set to attend CSU Stanislaus in the undergraduate honors program in the fall for political science in order to continue to pursue my activism. I'm beyond honored to be in the presence of so many incredible students, families, and just people, and even more honored to be considered among one of them. Thank you to the Equality Collaborative for recognizing each and every one of us and helping a community who has overcome an abundance of obstacles to break the cycle. When applying for this scholarship, you all asked me what have I done for this community, but I couldn't come up here and just talk about that the whole time. I want to know, I want to recognize what you guys have done for me. I began high school in 2016 at Peninsula Valley High as a transfer student from a small suburbia in Massachusetts called Milford. Milford, if you're wondering, is a conservative little town. It's best known for its 7 Dunkin' Donuts, conservative wine moms, of course, and being home to one of the brothers from Malcolm in the Middle. I was so clueless coming in to hear that the only thing I knew about San Francisco was the Full House theme song, and I didn't even know all the words. Entering high school is challenging enough when you are surrounded by friends, but I had no one. Until one day I overheard a few students in my class discussing San Francisco pride, and I could not believe it. Where I had grown up, acceptance didn't exist. There was only tolerance. The moment I came out, everyone started to look at me differently. Parents stopped inviting me to pool parties. I wasn't allowed to dance with my friends anymore because they were women and I'm a woman. So everything changed. And here the people were allowed to have love for their identity. It was completely foreign to me. And at lunch they brought me to the GSA. And upon entering the GSA, I saw a bunch of people decorating banners and making flower crowns and just talking about who they were. And it was the most incredible experience for me because I don't think I'd ever felt truly seen until that moment. So months later, I rose to presidency, and I have since dedicated every moment I can to building a community. To have built a club whose funding rivals our school's football team, which we have more money now, and whose members are more close-knit than any other organization on campus has been incredible. I have focused my club's activism upon education and empowerment of students and have worked on campaigns and created opportunities accordingly. In 2018, I was focused on education. I organized the first school-wide observance of the GLSEN's Day of Silence in my school's history. Thank you again. We had an overwhelming amount of support from the student body, and there were even several faculty members that started teaching in silence as well to emphasize our point. After school, we broke the silence with a celebration, and I spoke over the announcements addressing the entire student body with our concerns. Since then, the amount of LGBTQ-based harassment has decreased at my school, slowly but surely making things better. I want to give students a voice. In May 2018, I directed the first ever drag show to hit the West Contra Costa School District. Thank you. So what do you do when you're the first one to do it? You collect all of the guys you know and you put them in a bunch of Thrift Town dresses and Amazon Prime wigs and you throw them on a stage. I worked at a little coffee shop and I was working on Amazon and I was working however I could because we did not have any funding and I was washing dishes to buy whatever we could. So in 2 weeks we ended up putting on the sold out show and the first one in our history. Because of the immense support, because of the immense support we've received, this past March we held our season 2 competition, made over $1,000 and acquired and filled almost an entire 400-seat theater, and have made it into several local newspapers. We have collaborated with organizations including Rainbow Community Center and Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation, and I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet them. As time goes on, I have found strength in numbers. We are a community that is repeatedly targeted by the media and society, and it can be incredibly discouraging. So I will not stop in my efforts to make sure that every student knows that they are not in this alone. Before I close this off, I need to have my typical Oscars acceptance speech, we couldn't do this without you. So nothing I would do would be possible without the people I've had along the way to help me. I would like to thank my parents for my endless support, my mother for staying up till 3 a.m. every night making sure all my signs were perfect and helping me bake things very last minute for a bake sale I wasn't prepared for, listening to me ramble on about song choices for a show. She did everything for me along the way, and I'd like to thank my father for helping making sure everybody got to and from rehearsals and making sure everything was accessible for the students. Sorry. I would like to thank my girlfriend Athena, of course, for pushing me to keep going whenever I got completely frustrated and talking me down when I was freaking out, and she made sure I was okay throughout all of this, and I cannot be any more grateful for that. I would like to thank my GSA for creating a home for me when I had no one and giving me a family when I didn't think I'd have one. My drag cast, of course, for being the most bravest and most insane people you'll meet, and giving me something and someone to look forward to every week. Thank you to our sponsor, Mr. Rudd, of course, for his unconditional support throughout the process and being encouraging no matter what I suggested we would do next. Thank you to teachers like Ms. Scher, who is a person on our campus who has supported us unconditionally throughout whatever we did. She was one of the first teachers to participate during silence with tape over her mouth and everything, and a message up on her board explaining to students what was going on. When our students went on campus in drag, which we were some of the first students to do that too, she made sure that we had everything. So last but certainly not least, I want to say thank you to all of you for believing in me and believing in our community. Thank you.